All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, in this lesson, I wanted to deal with this uh, new topic, situation, event, whatever you want to categorize it as, with the, I believe she was confirmed or the confirmation of, and what was the name? Let me just pull it up real quick. Ketanji. There we go. Either Key or K or however, but Ketanji Brown Jackson. All right, and I just typed in the name here. It says Ketanji Brown Jackson is an American attorney and jurist who has served as a federal judge on the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit since 2021. She is a designate associate justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. Now, the direction I'm going to gear this lesson towards is dealing with the last time in Israel, going back to the Book of Kings, when you had a woman, all right, that was that saw an opportunity to gain power, all right, and that came into power, and how things turned out. And you'll see that all throughout the scriptures, there's a reason why it is the point of women not being in positions of authority over men is reiterated throughout the Bible. And there is a reason why that is, because people look at us as though, we are like, woman haters or something of that effect. But when you actually read the scriptures, all we're doing is emphasizing the point that is made throughout the scriptures. And the reason we have to do that is because of Babylon, America, and really the modern world today teaches the world to go contrary to the ordinance that the Lord has set via the Holy Scriptures. So as men of the Lord, we have to bring that out in all aspects, and we have to, set it straight as it is and let you know where you're going off. And that's also a part of the reason why you have so much chaos. Okay? Because women in today's society have been deceived into believing that they are happier in a position of power, that they actually want to be on the same equal level as a man. But when you actually break it down and you do put a woman in that position, over time, she'll come to realize that this ain't really making me happy. It's like a societal achievement, but it's not making me happy. Because the way the Lord set things up, you're not in your right order. So there's a reason why. But I want to start off here with the book of 2 Kings, chapter 11, verse 1. And at this point, you have dealing with the kings of Israel and the kings of Judah, because the kingdom is now split. And the Lord had basically set judgment upon the house of Ahab. Because of what he did, taking heed to his wife Jezebel. And he ended up sending Jehu to go and slay all the house of Ahab. Now, when Jehu was sent, all right, he ended up slaying both the king of the northern kingdom and the king of the southern kingdom. And I believe the king of the southern kingdom, his name was Ahaziah. So we're dealing here with Athaliah, which is the mother of Ahaziah. Okay, and as you can see in the top here, it says Athaliah, queen of Judah. And it says in 2 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. And when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, because her son Ahaziah was the king. So when she saw that he was dead, what did she do? She arose and destroyed all the seed royal. Why? Because if he was dead, guess what? The next in line, his seed, the royal seed, would be next to rule. So what was her whole mindset? Was it, let me protect let me protect my grandsons, or any potential heir so that he could come up and rule in the stead of his father? No, she said, no, let me take them all out. It says, but Jehosheba, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons which were slain. So Athaliah sought to slay all of the king Ahaziah's sons so that she could reign, being that there wouldn't be any heir. But the Lord set it up to where this individual here, where he at? Joash was hidden and preserved. It says, and they hid him, even him and his nurse, the woman that would raise him up and take care of him. It says, in the bedchamber from Athaliah, so that he was not slain. So you can tell off the bat already that she was a demon. All right, and she was power hungry. It says, and he was with her, hid in the house of the Lord 6 years, and Athaliah did reign over the land, which is going off. All right, it's going off because let's get a quick precept to prove why is that going off. The book of, what is this? Yeah, the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, starting at verse 12. All right, this was what Paul told Timothy. Now, Paul being a man of the Lord with all these great revelations given to him from Yahushai, why would Paul make a statement like this? Why don't people get upset at Paul and say that Paul was sexist, or he was a misogynist, or he was he was just this anti-woman, woman hater, demon. Why don't people go around saying that? Why is it that we're reading to you the writings of the Apostle Paul, but you get mad at us when this is what he wrote through the Spirit of the Lord? And as you can even go into your Bible and you can read the same verse. So why do you get mad at us when this was written in the same book you claim to believe in? But enough said, let's deal with what's actually written. So 1 Timothy 2:12, it says, but I suffer not a woman to teach. And what that means is a woman is not supposed to teach men. If she's going to teach, she's supposed to teach either other women or children that are under her. Okay, but she's not supposed to go about and try to put herself on the same level as a man to teach. And now Paul is dealing here with the church. Okay, but this can be applied universally. It says, nor to usurp authority over the man. And this is the key part, all right? The key message that we're bringing out here, nor to usurp authority over the man. So now, if you appoint a woman as a supreme judge, a judge is one that has authority to decide what is your fate in whatever matter it is. So if you appoint her as a supreme judge, right, one of the Supreme Court judges, you are in essence, she has now authority over men and women when it comes to certain situations, because now she is part of a body that makes these decisions. So why would the Apostle Paul say something like this to Timothy? Okay, and we're going to read in 2 Kings an example of why it is the Lord didn't set up queens. Why did the Lord raise up kings and not queens? Because the Lord is not dealing with queens. All right, the Lord ain't interested in having no queens or these super women going about. That is not the natural order. You know who determines what the natural order is? Not the creation, the creator. When you make sneakers, right? Whoever thought of the idea of making sneakers, he made them with a certain idea in mind that, I need something on my feet when I walk, so my feet are not just bare exposed to the rough elements of the ground or anything of that sort. So let me design or come up with something that I can wear, footwear. Let me design footwear, right, to go on my foot for the purpose that I'm creating it. So how come he makes this footwear And the footwear now says, yo, my man, I don't want to be no footwear. I want to be the gloves. I want to go in the hands, not the feet. Why do the hands have, why do the gloves get to go up higher on the human body, but I got to stay all the way down here? Because that's the term footwear implies that it goes on the foot. See? So that's like the Lord saying, look, I created man and I created woman. And I designed a woman to be a helpmeet onto the man. So why do you turn around and get upset and say, no, 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 no. I want to be the man. I want to be just like, I want to do. Then what are you doing? You're going out of the natural order. You're going out of the natural way you were created to go. And then what does that do? That means, for example, if the footwear ain't doing what the footwear is supposed to do, what happens? Do you say, okay, well, then I'm going to turn the footwear into gloves? No. You say, okay, well, this footwear is clearly defective, so I got to get rid of it. And that's what the Lord is going to do. For those that have a problem following the natural order that has been set by the Heavenly Father, by Hashem Yahushai, in everything, you always have a pair, right? Male and female, living creatures. Anything living, for the most part, you have male and female. So if you want to go against that natural order, you'll be considered defective. And if you are defective, then you must be annihilated, eliminated, and replaced. Because in Revelation 4, let me get that real quick. What do the scriptures say as to concerning creation? All right, Revelation chapter 4, verse 11. Actually, verse 10. And the 24 elders fall down before him, and him that sat on the throne, and worship him that liveth forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne, saying, Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. So why were we created? Why were animals created? Why was the plant, the earth, the solar systems, why were all these things created? For the pleasure of the Lord. So when he makes man to be a certain kind of way. When he makes an Israelite man, he makes an Israelite man to be a certain kind of way. So if he makes you to be a woman, but you don't want to be a woman, you want to act like a man, and you want to, usurp all these authorities and go out of the boundaries of what you were made to do, then you're going to displease the Lord. And if you displease the Lord, then what do you think is going to happen to you? If you were created to please the Lord, but you're not pleasing the Lord, what happens to you? The Lord looks at you, well, then I have no need for you, because you're not doing what you were created to do. If you buy a laptop, right, and the laptop doesn't turn on, what happens? You get upset and you either return it or you throw it out because it's designed to come on and perform the functionality of a laptop. So when the Lord creates you in a certain role and you're not doing that, you piss the Lord off. All right. So 1 Timothy 2:12, it says, But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. And a lot of women get angry and upset and offended when we mention this, but it's written in the scriptures. And there's a reason for that. Now, when you look at society today, you'll find out that they've tried to level the playing field that is not supposed to be leveled. And because of that, they have given women a false sense of power that allows them to, and that's what makes them get upset when they hear us talk like this or bring out these kinds of scriptures. But when the Lord reverts things back to the natural way, right, back to the time of, the proper order of things, and that reset is gonna come a hard way. It's gonna be by way of a hard reset through chaos and destruction and calamity. Now, during that calamity, which is known in the scriptures as Jacob's trouble, the false sense of power and the artificial world that has been created here in America and spread across the globe, it's going to disappear. It's going to be overridden by the realness of what real life is. So when your life is threatened, or when you are, out there facing the elements without any help, without any access to 911 and the social media and those things that give women that false sense of power, you're going to realize where your true standing in society is. And the same with men. And at that point, their eyes are going to be open and they're going to be privy to the fact that, damn, I really didn't have that power all along. That was just because of Instagram or because of Snapchat or TikTok, or because I could just, DM this individual or post these kinds of pictures or call 911 if anybody try to mess with me and things of that sort. And I'd have the court system to have these men be subject to me through these laws, these unrighteous decrees, whether it's dealing with child support or whatever the case is. So these things are all going to be lost and taken away when all hell breaks loose. And that's when they're going to realize the only thing that you're going to be left with is just you. Now, when you deal with just you and the next man, you realize that you don't really have much because you don't have that. See, today, somebody can say no, right? But now you got to ask yourself, what makes you saying no hold power? How does your no hold power? Well, if you ask somebody for something and they say no and you try to take it, they can file or press charges against you. So at that point, their no holds power. They can say no, right? Say a dude, we'll use a radical example, right? Say a dude sees a chick and he delights, right? Truly delightful, right? He delights in her, right? He has desire onto her. So he says, I want you, go to, let me lay with you. Using the biblical terms, right? Allow me to lie with thee. And she says no. He can't just, but the average individual can't just say, I'm gonna take you anyway. Because her no holds power in the sense that she can call the cops or there's somebody around that's gonna hear her scream and intervene, or she can press charges on you. That's why her no holds power. But when that is obsolete and she says no, what can she use to defend or back up that no? That is when you realize, what does she truly have power or not? Because if she says no and he says yeah, and he takes that, then what? Where is she going to run to? Who is she going to call? That's how you see there's no power, because she can try to fight back, but that's where you determine, okay, does she actually have power or not? See? Because naturally the man is stronger. So if you are stripped down to like a base level with no extra, just man, woman, the man has something over the woman, which is that power, his strength. And he can overpower her. See, so at the end of it all, and I know I went a little bit off topic, but I'll bring it right back through the spirit. At the end of it all, there's a reason why women are not supposed to usurp authority over the man. There's a reason the Most High, men are genetically and naturally stronger than women, can naturally do and handle things when it comes to particular fields than women. And there's a reason, because the Most High designed it that way. So when you want to talk about raw or brute strength, men have an upper hand over women. So ask yourself, why did the Lord do that? If the Lord had an ideal to make everybody equal, why not make women equally as strong as men, or equally as fast, or equally as athletic and agile? Why cause that difference in that separation? That'll give the man the advantage when it comes to those things. Because clearly he didn't design a woman to be on that level. So now going back to I keep forgetting her name. Ketanji Brown, right? Judge Brown Jackson. So going back to that, now the second thing is, we are yet to see what exactly she's gonna do, but trust and believe she is an Israelite woman put in a position of power in Esau's kingdom. That alone should be more than enough red flags. Because now let me ask you, if you were in the kingdom, your kingdom, would you take an Edomite woman and put her in power in your kingdom? No, you wouldn't, unless you had an ulterior motive. You would not take a woman of of a nation of people that are considered your enemies, a woman of your quote unquote people that are subject to you, and just say, here, we want to be fair, so here, you can come in here and do what you want. No, unless you had absolute 100% control over her, ain't no way you would do that. And unless you had a motive or reason for doing it, why in the hell would you put a woman of the nation that you hate and consider your enemies, that you want to eliminate, in a position of power in your kingdom? That just doesn't make sense. That absolutely doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? Unless you had some motive behind it. Now, this woman would have to agree to whatever standards you had set. Because see, the real life is not like they depict in, in on TV and all of that. As if there's an equal shot that everybody can come in and the system is just it's not broken and it just works accordingly. No, there's always a behind the scenes. Okay, so there's definitely some heavy things going on behind the scenes as to why they would put Ketanji Brown in there. Remember, these are the same people that would, after going to quote unquote church, they would go and pick a nigga, lynch him, and call it a picnic, right? So what changed? What changed? All of a sudden, what changed within you all of a sudden that you are interested in setting up these, Jake in these positions? And you notice they chose an Israelite woman, right? So it's just things to consider. But anyway, verse 13 says, for Adam was first formed, then Eve. Verse 14, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. And that's actually a good point, because when you analyze the story of Genesis in the beginning, dealing with Adam and Eve and the serpent came to Eve. And what did the serpent present to Eve? He presented to Eve what he made seem like a opportunity to gain power, right? Is that not what he said, that surely you're not going to die if you eat of the fruit? That the Lord only said that because he knows that your eyes would be open and you will become like them. You become gods. That was power, or at least he made it to seem as he was offering power to her. And she being deceived, it said what? It was pleasant to the eyes. So she partook of it and then gave some to her husband and he partook. So why wouldn't the serpent come straight to Adam and offer him that position and say, hey, why don't you, what I'm saying, what's going on over there with the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Y'all don't partake of that? What's up with that? What's going on? And it wasn't an actual fruit. There wasn't a snake coiled up in a tree somewhere watching Adam and Eve every single day and wondering why is it that they don't go pluck fruits from that tree specifically. I'm a little curious about that. Let me come in. And first off, if it was how the hell did the serpent know, okay, what that fruit tasted like? He slither right around that tree of knowledge and evil, and with his little tongue, he just plucked one of those apples. And he just bit into it and ate the apple, and then he came from experience to tell Eve, yeah, that fruit, you got to partake of that. No. Okay. But now let's go back to the book of 2 Kings 11, dealing with Athaliah. So now her idea is, this is my opportunity to what? To gain power. My son, who is the king, is dead. Now, if I can kill all of his sons, all the royal seed, I can have that position. So that's exactly what her plan was, but the Most High had other plans. So 2 Kings 11 and 5, it says, and he commanded them. Hold up. Verse 3. And he was with her hid in the house of the Lord 6 years, and Athaliah did reign over the land. So she reigned for about 6 years. And the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers of hundreds with the captains and the guard, and brought them to him into the house of the Lord, and made a covenant with them, and took an oath of them in the house of the Lord, and shewed them the king's son. So he finally, showed them that, yeah, there's actually still one heir left, right, on some Game of Thrones type joint. Verse 5, it says, and he commanded them, saying, this is the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you that enter in on the Sabbath shall even be the keepers of the watch of the king's house. And a third part shall be at the gate of Sur, and a third part at the gate behind the guard. So shall ye keep the watch of the house, that it be not broken down. And the two parts of all that go forth on the Sabbath, even they shall keep the watch of the house of the Lord about the king. And he shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapons in his hand. And he that cometh within the ranges, let him be slain. So don't think twice. You know, the second he steps, take him out. It says, and he that cometh within the ranges, let him be slain, and be ye with the king as he goeth out and as he cometh in. So protect him at all costs. Why? Because he knew that once this demon Athaliah found out, she would want to slay him. Because what would that mean for Athaliah? That would mean that she can't reign. She ain't the legitimate. There is a legitimate heir. So then you got to get off that power seat. So let's see how she reacted. Was she a noble woman that said, "Oh man, would you look at that? I guess they did find another heir. You know what? Let's embrace him and welcome. I'm so glad that you're alive." No, she's the one who tried to kill all of them anyway. Verse 9, and the captains over the hundreds did according to all things that Jehoiada the priest commanded. And keep in mind too, women are more emotional than men. So there's things that women do. They feel before they think. All right. They feel before they think. So there's things that they do out of impulse, which are decisions that are driven by the emotion before the thought. The thought comes after. So if you act on emotion first and then think later, you're going to find yourself having to always backtrack and trying to fix errors and mistakes that you've done. Now, the problem is, right? The problem is if you have a woman in a position of power and she thinks with how she feels, or she acts on how she feels before she thinks, that's a problem. Because she needs to be over, as a judge, you need to be able to think logically. You need to put emotions aside. You need to not judge according to the outward appearance. All right. And that's hard to do if you feel before you think. Okay. I'm gonna give you an example. Jephthah. Jephthah made a vow with the Lord. I forgot exactly how it went, but I know if the Lord had blessed him either to defeat his enemies or to survive a certain situation and bring him home safely, that the first person that he meets that will open the door to him, he would sacrifice to the Lord, or first whatever the first person or thing it was. And when he came home, it was his daughter, who was a virgin, that opened the doors to meet him. And he, oh no, now I got to sacrifice my daughter, right? But Jephthah knew that this was a vow he had made to the Lord. So above how he was feeling, he had to keep his word. He had to keep that vow. Now, if he was a feel first, think later, that feeling would override and he'd say, "Nah, I can't do this. I can't sacrifice my virgin daughter who ain't even had no kids. I can't do it," because he would be feeling before he is thinking. He may feel bad, but he has to think, I did vow to the Lord, and according to the scriptures, I can't, if I make that vow, I got to keep it. So that means that you got to do what you got to do. Once again, if he was feeling first, he wouldn't even think as far as to remember what the scriptures say about vowing a vow to the Lord. Okay? And you can't, look, women are naturally designed that way. All right? They're naturally designed to move that way. And that's why the Lord puts a man and a woman together. And that's why the man is the head of the household. I'm not saying women can't give good advice, because they can. All right? They are good for the role that they have been created for. Same thing with men. Men and women were not created to play the same roles. And women are great at their roles if they do it right. And men are great at their roles if they do it right. But a man can't play the role of a woman, and a woman is not supposed to play the role of a man. Now, that's why where the woman lacks or where she faults, she has a man there to, you know, take care of that part. When it comes to leadership and, you know, those the acumen and sagacity and all of those things, that's why the Lord has a man over there. Okay? End the story. So now let's go back to 2 Kings 11. And it says here, let's see. All right, I believe I was over the hundreds did according to all things that Jehoiada the priest commanded, and they took every man his men that were come in on the Sabbath, and with them that should go out on the Sabbath, and came to Jehoiada the priest. And to the captains over hundreds did the priest give King David's spears and shields that were in the temple of the Lord. And the guard stood every man with his weapons in his hand, round about the king, from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar and the temple. And he brought forth the king's sons and put the crown upon him, and gave him the testimony, and they made him king and anointed him, and they clapped their hands and said, God save the king. So now as you're reading this, you have to imagine. That's why I made reference to Game of Thrones, because you know you can get some picture of how these things play out. Okay. Verse 13, it says, and when Athaliah heard the noise of the guard and of the people, she came to the people in the temple of the Lord. And man, you already know how dramatic this must have been, right? And when she looked, behold, the king stood by a pillar, as the manner was, and the princes and the trumpeters by the king, and all the people of the land rejoiced. So now imagine how shook she was when she first saw that. Like, what the fudge is this? You know, remember, feel first, think after. So how is she feeling in this moment? Is she feeling a combination of anger, rage, confusion, regret, fear? What is going on? Who, how, what? They were all supposed to be dead. How is this possible? Right? It says, and the people of the land rejoiced and blew the trumpets, and Athaliah rent her clothes and cried, treason, treason. Once again, like I said, it's dramatic. You gotta imagine this here. This is treason. Oh man. It says, but Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains of the hundreds and the officers of the host, and said unto them, have her forth without the ranges, and him that followeth with her, or Salakia, and him that followeth her kill with the sword. So it says, for the priest had said, let her not be slain in the house of the Lord. So they took her ass out because they knew what she was the one who sought to slay all of them. So they knew what was going on. And at the right time, she got the judgment that came to her. Well, let's find out what it was. It says, and they laid hands on her, and she went by the way by the which the horses came into the king's house, and there was she slain. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord. Now, if she was such a good queen, right? She was such a good ruler. Why would this be her end? You know, number one, you already knew she was going to be a demon, because the first opportunity she got, she said, I'm going to slay my grandkids. What kind of grandmother does that? Just for power? What type of shit is wrong with you? So it says, verse 17, and Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people, that they should be the Lord's people, between the king also and the people. And it goes on down as to, you know, some more stuff that happened. But the main part that, matter of fact, let me actually read verse 20. It says, and all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet, and they slew Athaliah with the sword beside the king's house. All right. So there you go. Okay, there's an account. Now going back to what did I tell this video? What happened the last time a woman was in a position of power? Okay, and you can see when she got that, when she saw, whenever they were presented with a position of power, it didn't end right. Okay, When Eve was presented, right, with the option, yo, what's up? What's going on? Did she think? You got to ask yourself, did Eve think in her mind, didn't the Lord tell us not to do this though? Did that thought even cross her mind? But she was feeling what the serpent was saying, because the reason he was able to deceive her was because he knew the right words to use. He knew how to slide those words past her mental defenses. And how do you do that? With the emotions. Because the fact that a woman can be wrong and yet get mad at you for pointing out that she's wrong because you yelled at her, that shows you, first off, that you're not in a capability of thinking logically or mentally. And what I mean by that is logically, logos. Okay, they deal with pathos mostly. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that women cannot think logically, all right, or that they cannot say important things or give good advice. No, they also play a key role in society. But the reason we have to reiterate this point over and over and over again is because of the way society has made women to be. We're dealing with a modern woman, okay? The way, and men as well, but once again, the modern woman. Now, if you dealing with this time period, this was thousands of years ago. When you would compare those women to women today, those women would be considered in order compared to these women today. And yet you had these demons like Athaliah doing shit like this back then. So now, with the level of perverseness that the world has been exposed to in this day and age, what do you think would happen? What do you think that what bounds or boundaries or restrictions do you think that they would be able to place on themselves today? For a woman to set up a man, act like they're going on a date and end up having tortured his ass for money? To have a man set up to be killed, and I mean they can do these things, and when it comes to them being vindictive or trying to get revenge or get back at you, forget it. And that's the problem. Okay, they put that first. So you cannot have somebody thinking like that in a position of power when it comes to making quote unquote important decisions. And number two, like I said, in Esau's kingdom, for him to take an Israelite woman and put you in that position of power, so-called power, they're saying that something is definitely up. Something is definitely up. The scriptures say never trust thine adversary, right? Never trust your enemy. So, I mean, even trying to be in a position of power in his kingdom isn't something that you should seek. If you look at the things that these music artists, and they're just music artists or comedians, people in the industry, the entertainment industry, you look at some of the things that they have to do in order to quote unquote make it, right? Or get a contract or get signed to a record label, it's sick. They have to pretty much give up everything. How much more for a woman to be confirmed or appointed as a Supreme Court judge? What do you think she had to do to get there? Like I said, man, we're dealing with the devil here. The devil does not play fair, and the devil is not going to say, I'm going to give you an equal opportunity because, I want to make history. Make history? These dudes are planning on reducing the world's population from close to 8 billion to 500 million. And you think they care about equality? You think they care about how you feel? You think they care about giving you equal rights? How long did you protest over the whole George Floyd situation, asking for equality, and everybody's coming out here saying Black Lives Matter and we got to make things better? What happened after that? Are we not back in the same situation? They did not have a Jacob Blake situation, and they're still doing the thing they're doing today. So if you really cared so much about you and your equality, trust me, man, something would have been different a long time ago. Oh, is she? Oh, see, I didn't even know that. All right, Rawai La Yasharala Yahawashai is coming back 144K. She is pro. Oh, okay, she's pro pedo, huh? So that's that, and then that's when they come with that inclusivity BS, right? We got it all inclusive, and it's funny how they're all inclusive of everybody but us, right? They're accepting of everybody's views but the scripture's views. See, how is it that we want to deal with all inclusive, right? That means that everybody's viewpoint is welcomed. right? Everybody is allowed to live freely as they please. Why is it that when we talk about our viewpoint, which is the scriptures, we're deemed a hate group. We're demons. All of a sudden, we are, my gosh, we're the worst people in existence. But aren't we entitled to opinion as well? Aren't we entitled to a belief as well? But your belief we have to accept. Our belief nobody has to accept. How is that not hypocritical? How is that all inclusive? So now, because of inclusivity, you got to put a child's life at risk because you want to include these P's. All right, you got now that's going to be a thing. Now, if you say the P word, oh, whoa, that's offensive. You can't say something like that. All right, you got to say youth seekers. You know, they seek joy in youth. Man, this world is so gone, man. This place is sick. All right, this place is sick beyond sick. Now, if she's coming there with that kind of mindset, what kind of she's gonna be like another Barack Obama in a different field, and she's just gonna be there to look good, right? Yeah, calm these niggas down, make them think that we're doing something for them, and come do worse things than Edomites in this position. All right, what you think she's gonna be pushing, man? Jake is so beyond gone. They fall for everything. Oh yes, we're finally making progress. Oh, we got a black wall for the first time. It's not an all white male dominated courtship. Shut your ass up, man. These people finna come starve your ass. You know, release all manner of diseases out here. You know, and kill your ass. And you worried about for the first time we ain't you man. You Israelites are so I don't even have words for you. You're just gone. You're further than gone. All right. You oh man. Anyway, this is 1 Peter 3:7. It says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. Who is this talking about? Women. It says, giving honor unto the wife, which is the woman, as unto the weaker vessel. Whoa, what? He just called me weak. You know, well, no, that's what the scripture said. No, I heard you say it. Because you know what? They're gonna say they're a Christian, but when you bring out the precept, they get mad at you because they don't want to get mad at the scripture. Because then they're gonna feel bad. They're gonna have cognitive dissonance in their mind. I can't be a Christian and hate the scriptures. So I gotta hate you. I know you're reading it from the Bible, but I can't hate the Bible, so I gotta hate you. Right? It says, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So the key part in this verse is you give honor unto the woman as what? As the weaker vessel. As the weaker vessel. So if you are in a group, in an army, in a war, would you choose your captain to be the one who's weakest with no experience? No. We don't got time for character development. You know, let's put him up and let's strengthen it. Listen, my man, we need somebody that's strong, that has experience, that can lead us so we don't die. You worried about us? We got to be inclusive, though. You know, we got to take the weak links, got to put them up top, and even though our lives are at risk here, we got to make sure that we include them and really strengthen them up. This has got to be the most backward kingdom that has ever been, and that's why it's going to be known. You know, when you look at all the different captivities we've been in, this one is the one that's going to be destroyed the worst, as well as be known when we get delivered out of here, you know, as the new deliverance out of Egypt. Now, lastly, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12. It says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. But that's going off because, like we read in 1 Timothy, woman is not supposed to usurp authority over the man. And when the time comes and the Lord sets everything in his righteous order, you're going to see how beautiful life is going to be. Ask yourself, how is it that the kingdom of heaven is going to be perfect, and yet women are not going to be equal to men? Isn't that something right there? How women and children and everybody's going to be happy, but yet women are not going to be equal to men. That's interesting. So it says here, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. If you up here talking about the alternative lifestyle community plus the P's, right? The youth seekers, guess what? You're going off. All right? And you're destroying the way our paths, according to the scriptures, then you ought to be, you're an abomination for that. Okay? Both you that partake in it and you that support it. And the Lord will deal with you. Okay, he'll deal with you very harshly for that. So that's all I got to say on this, and ultimately we got to just watch and see how is this going, play out. All right, although we pretty much see where this place is going, but it makes sense now that they will do it as this place is circling the drain. So we're gonna watch and see, what else comes of this. But the same way we told you about this sleepy Biden, Joe dead by then, bad news Biden. You got people that they just don't get it, but they'll find out, and they'll find out the hard way. So anyway, with that, I hope you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kudash. Until next time, Shalom.